Alibaba Story. Once upon a time in China, there were two young men who had a very unusual friendship. One was a college dropout, who had an idea for a website that would connect buyers and sellers all over the world. The other was a programmer who was working at a bank but dreamed of doing something more. Together, they built a small business that helped Chinese factories find international buyers. But their success was short-lived, because soon, the Chinese government shut down their company. But the two friends didn't give up. Instead, they tried again with a new company focused on Their website became one of the largest online marketplaces in the world, connecting millions of buyers and sellers and transforming the way people shop online. This is the story of Jack Ma and the rise of Alibaba. Hello everyone. Today we are going to tell you the story of how Jack Ma dropped out of college to start Alibaba, the largest e-commerce company in the world. If you want to hear more stories like this, stay tuned. Chapter 1. The early years. Jack Ma was born in China in September 1964. His father worked in the military, and his mother was a local official. When he was 12 years old, his parents divorced, and he moved with his mother to another city where she remarried a factory worker. Jack Ma was a curious kid who loved to ask questions. He was also a class clown who would make his teachers laugh. But when he got into high school, things changed. He became more serious and focused on studying. He wanted to get into university so he could have a good job and make his mother proud. After graduating from high school, Jack Ma applied to several universities, but he wasn't accepted anywhere. So he tried again the next year, and this time he was accepted to Hangzhou Teachers Institute, where he studied English. While in college, Jack Ma started dating a classmate named Kathy. They fell in love and got married after graduation. After college, Jack Ma became an English teacher at the same institute where he had studied. He was good at his job, but he didn't feel fulfilled. He wanted to do something more with his life. So he quit his job and started working for a translation company. It paid much better than teaching, but it was also much more stressful. Jack Ma had to translate documents for clients who were often demanding and impatient. He also had to deal with colleagues who were jealous of his success. In 1995, Jack Ma decided to take a break from his stressful job and go on vacation with his wife. They traveled to the United States, where they visited San Francisco and Seattle. There he learned about the internet and saw how it was changing the way people communicate and do business. He was inspired to start his own business on the internet. So when he came back to China, he quit his job at the translation company and started working at a software company called Alibaba. There he met a coworker named Eddie Wu, was a talented programmer who shared Jack Ma's passion for the internet. They became friends and started talking about how they could use the internet to help Chinese businesses grow. In 1998, Jack Ma and Joe Tsai left Alibaba Software and started their own company called Easy.com. Their goal was to help Chinese factories sell their products to international buyers through the internet. They developed a website that allowed factories to list their products and buyers to search for them. Then they did marketing to attract buyers from all over the world. It was hard work but also very exciting. Jack Ma and Joe Tsai were both very passionate about their project, and they were also very lucky. Just as they were about to launch their website, the Chinese government announced a new policy that would make it easier for businesses to sell online. This gave Easy.com a huge boost, and the company quickly became profitable. Chapter 2. The government shutdown. But not everyone was happy with Easy.com's success. In particular, some government officials were jealous of Jack Ma's fame and fortune, and they started making his life difficult. One day, government officials raided Easy.com's office and shut down the company. Jack Ma and Joe Tsai were devastated, but they refused to give up. They knew that they had done nothing wrong and that they had a great product that people loved. So they started planning their comeback. While government officials were questioning Jack Ma, they told him that if he wanted to continue running an e-commerce business in China, he needed to move to Beijing. So Jack Ma and his family packed up and moved to the capital city. There, he met a new friend named Lucy. She was a smart and ambitious woman who had worked for several internet companies in China. She was impressed by Jack Ma's story, and she wanted to help him start a new company. Together, they brainstormed ideas for a new business model that would be more acceptable to the Chinese government. They wanted to focus on domestic sales rather than international sales. And they also wanted to focus on small businesses rather than large factories. After months of research and planning, Jack Ma and his team launched a new website called Taobao Marketplace. It was an online auction site that allowed individuals to sell their items to other individuals. It was a risky move because it was a very competitive market. There were already several popular auction sites in China, such as eBay and Amazon. But Jack Ma and his team were confident that they could compete with the best of them. They knew that they had a great platform and a great team. And they were also very lucky. Just as they were about to launch their website, the Chinese government announced a new policy that would make it easier for individuals to sell online. This gave Taobao Marketplace a huge boost, and the company quickly became one of the most popular auction sites in China. Chapter 3. success and growth. But Jack Ma and his team didn't stop there. They knew that they had created something special, and they wanted to make it even better. They started investing heavily in technology and customer service. They developed a new system that made it easier for buyers and sellers to communicate. They also hired more staff to answer customer questions and resolve disputes. As a result, Taobao Marketplace became one of the most trusted names in Chinese e-commerce. In 2003, Jack Ma took his company public on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. It was a huge success. The IPO raised $1 billion and made Jack Ma a billionaire. But Jack Ma didn't spend the money on luxury cars or he invested it back into his company to help it grow faster. He expanded Taobao Marketplace to other product categories such as clothing, electronics, and home appliances. He also launched new services such as online payment and shipping. As a result, Taobao Marketplace grew from a small auction site to the largest e-commerce platform in China. In 2007, Jack Ma stepped down as CEO of Taobao Marketplace, but he remained chairman of the company. He used his new free time to pursue other interests such as philanthropy and politics. He started the Jack Ma Foundation, which focuses on improving education and healthcare in rural China. He also became a member of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, a government advisory body. Today, Alibaba is one of the most valuable companies in the world, with a market cap of over $200 billion. It employs over 100,000 people and serves millions of customers every day. Alibaba has also gone global. It operates websites in over 20 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. Jack Ma is now one of the richest men in the world, with a net worth of over $50 billion. But despite his success, Jack Ma remains humble. He often talks about how he was just a small-time English teacher who had a dream to make a difference. He also talks about how he faced many challenges and setbacks, but never gave up. Thank you for watching the Alibaba Story. Do you want to hear more stories about successful entrepreneurs? Stay tuned.